Connected. Can you hear me?
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
You know the saying, stay hungry, stay humble. I'm humble in defeat, and I'm going to remain humble in victory. This is it, right?
JDFrom Productions.
I just wanted to put on a great boxing masterclass and also show the sweet science of this lovely sport. Man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
I prepared to the best of my capability, and I pray that I get the win. Look at it, like, I love Mike Tyson, how he came into the game on some different kind of vibe. You know what I mean? It takes a crazy man to want to fight with me day in, day out. A hardcore sport, as you said, no silk shoes.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
What's up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. This is our Border Wars series with another Unguarded episode with the very echoey Donel Fernandes. Mr. Fernandes, do you have any headphones yet? You ready?
I'm trying to find a picture.
You know what? Just do it. Just do it like that. It sounds so much better than with those headphones. But how are you, first and foremost? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to knocking out these questions.
Oh, I thought you was going to say knocking out your opponent. Look at you setting us up already, man. So how's training camp going? Let's get through all the regular corny questions. How's training camp been? I mean,
training camp's been real good, man. It started off a little rocky, I'm not going to lie. Had a nice piece of humble pie when I did some sparring with some way more experienced guys, but definitely showed me what I had to work on. Definitely showed me I had to work on my conditioning and gave me definitely made me rededicate myself.
Really? So the conditioning, wow. And I thought you had a tank. I seen you do 3 rounds with Ndango. I'm thinking you got a tank. You did well in the Ricky Swift Davis fight. I didn't see, that like you needed, that you were gassing. What happened in this session that made you feel like your conditioning wasn't up to par?
I'm not gonna lie, I was enjoying life a little bit. Being in a new city, I ended up, meeting some people and going out. So I wasn't taking it from the time after the Wilder event. I was, going out, enjoying life. Had a new job, so definitely is hitting the bottle a little bit.
So you want some AB? You want some AB shit out here?
Nah, never. Not to that extent.
You talking about you in the new city?
It was definitely. It was good. It was good. It was good to know. What was crazy was, so I remember one time we had our little employee gala at work, and when I tell you your boy was. It was a little bit sauced. And I went to the gym the next day. I went to the gym the next day and did like 8 rounds of sparring. Like,
whoa.
8 rounds. I was just floating in there and I felt great. And I was like, all right, bet I could do this. And I tried it again and no, sir.
Wow.
No, sir.
So you're in Atlanta now. You're no longer in. Where were you from? Oh my God, it's escaping me. Wait.
Yeah. So
Florida. You're originally from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, that's right. I'm originally from Orlando, but when I first joined Border Wars, I was living out in Maryland, and I had just moved to Atlanta.
Okay. So how's Atlanta?
It's well, man. It's real good. It's definitely enjoying a new city, a lot of new opportunities. So just trying to make the most of it.
Do you think that you'll end up staying there?
No, for sure, definitely not.
No,
this is definitely a pit. This is definitely a pit stop. Honestly, I really don't know where I'll end up. I've lived overseas. I really enjoyed that. So with my job
where at overseas?
It's pretty open. Say it again.
Where at overseas?
I lived in Brazil for about a year and a half, and then being
What?
my yeah, I lived out in Brazil, man, from 2015 to 2016.
What?
Yeah.
What brought you to Brazil for a whole year?
So it was funny. After I graduated, so I went to college in New York. I went on a track and field scholarship, and after that, I moved back to Orlando for a little bit. And I just didn't feel I didn't feel that sense of accomplishment. I graduated with honors. I didn't land the job that I wanted, so I had applied for a master's program at NYU. And at that time, the Brazilian economy was booming, so I was going to study international business. That didn't end up panning out, but I ended up meeting this really good girl whose family actually owned a college in Brazil. So needless to say, I ended up doing that. Man, her family was immaculate. She was great, man. We were still like best friends to this day. And I went out there and I ended up studying business and picking up another language because I really wanted to be bilingual. And out there, I was able to fight. I fought at this gym called Academia Palmeiras, which is like one of the big soccer leagues. It's like one of the big soccer teams in São Paulo, Brazil. And Asolino Freitas actually trained out of that gym for a little bit.
Wow, man. That is, see, look, this is why these unguardeds are important because I had no clue that you spent some time in Brazil. Pretty
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah,
how
man, it
easy?
was awesome. I spent time there. I spent time there. I spent time in Jamaica. I spent time in
How
Guyana
long in
as well.
Jamaica?
That's where my dad is from. Yeah, so I got to train in the gym that Vivian Harris trained out of. He was a former 140-pound world champion. I trained in his gym in Guyana for a little bit.
Nice.
I unfortunately I never made it to a boxing gym in Jamaica, but
How long were you in Jamaica?
I went back and forth when I was younger. As a kid, my mom would always made it a point that we went back there to show us our roots and things like that. So we would go during the summer times.
Nice, man. So, how difficult was it finding a decent gym in Atlanta?
It was rough, man. I'm not gonna lie. That time there was a 2 week period I moved out before the last fight before Ricky Swift that I went to like three different gyms just trying to find one that stuck because a lot of them that I ran across was more like the kickboxing, like the women's classes type gyms. But I ended up finding one, a pretty solid gym. They have a couple pros that fight out of there, and I'm training with a guy named Bill Bradley. He actually fought Glenn Johnson back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you liking the gym? Is there consistent work there?
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. So they definitely made me feel like new guy on the block when I first got in there. It was a real everybody that's been in there, I've been in there for a while. But there's definitely a lot of talented guys in there. Um they have a national champion, Keon, I can't remember his last name. But I've been able to get some good work with him. They have this pro, he goes by the name of Pinky. So I did some sparring with him. And then the trainer that Tank trains at the gym. The trainer that has a gym out here that Tank trains at when he's here. He brings his guys out there to spar. I don't remember his name. He's a Muslim guy though. And he has a real good amateur called Mac Truck. You probably seen him on like Ellie Sekback videos and things like that. Mustafa is his name. Mustafa, sorry.
Okay. So, when would you say you started to take training camp seriously? Like, when was this session that you had that you realized, all right, I can't do this anymore? So yeah, like when was that? How many weeks ago?
Oh, that was maybe early. No, I'm sorry. That was mid-December. So it was before New Year's.
Okay, before New
Yeah.
Year. So that means you got a good amount of time in the gym then.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely I'm not as I told you, I'm not here to take this as a game. I really appreciate every opportunity that you've afforded me so far. With this, with getting invited to the Wilder camp, with being in contact with Coach Cuz and Chris. So I'm not trying to shit the bed at all. And I told you that I'm trying to see where I can take this. So I feel like I have the perfect opponent with JD, being that he's a former pro. I'm not taking him for granted. And after hearing his Unguarded as well, knowing that he fought Charles Hatley and that he's getting sparring with Eric Walker, it just put the extra battery in my back to really, really take it seriously and not take this as a game.
Did you see his sparring with Shawn?
I didn't see his sparring with Eric Walker. The only footage I have is the footage that Mide sent me from their fight.
What? But on Patreon, you got him and Shawn Jones from Houston, who's also fighting, and then him and another dude. Yeah. His sparring's definitely out. If I could find it real quick, I'll definitely text it to you. So
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. I thought you would have seen that. But yeah, what are you expecting from him outside of the experience that obviously he should be able to bring?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting him to bring his A game. From hearing his Unguarded, I think he has a chip on his shoulder from losing the Mide and then from the sparring where he got worked up by Lauren. I'm definitely expecting him to to definitely come in and try to prove a point, especially since I'll be in his home state. He'll probably bring some, I don't know, he'll probably have a little crowd with him, but I don't really care about that. Okay. I know that he's probably thinking that not thinking, he knows he has a height advantage. From speaking with Mide, I believe he's around 5'10". He might have a reach advantage, but I mean, all those things could be negated very easily. I've been watching a lot of Floyd Mayweather versus Diego Corrales, so I definitely look to employ that same type of game plan in the fight.
But Diego, okay, that's right, the tall one. I'm hearing you say Diego, and I'm thinking Castillo.
Magdaleno?
No, Castillo.
Oh no.
Yeah. So here goes one. I'm going to send you this link. And in the meantime, we're going to get to these questions. Man, but you did 8 rounds when you weren't in shape and were partying. So what have you done totality, you think, for this camp?
Oh, man. I've probably done at least 20 rounds because I did 8 rounds. That the time that I didn't have a good showing, I did 4 then. We did a round robin sparring. I had so I did some work with a former pro, with this dude that he actually fights in bare knuckle. I forgot his name, but he actually fought in that bare knuckle fight with he was on that card with Paulie and the Russian MMA dude. So he was actually able to give me some good looks. He had a little Tyson Fury style around him. He was real herky jerky, but he was a bigger dude too. He weighed in about like 180. So it just made me defensive. I did 3 rounds with a former heavyweight fighter that he used to be a sparring partner for Evander Holyfield back in the day. He was a little bit older though, but he was a southpaw, so he gave me a decent look. And then this past Friday, I did about 5 rounds with this amateur. He was 140, and another guy that was about 170. So I've definitely been mixing it up, looking at all different styles, making sure that I've been getting people my size and guys significantly bigger. So nothing is a surprise on fight night.
So that session that I sent you has 2. It's one with Shawn, who's 175, and then another guy that I have no clue who it is that he was sparring. But yeah, man, I wished you would have seen that, just to get your thoughts. But we got some questions from other Border Wars fighters here. We got Jordan Baker in Fort Myers, Florida, who says, "When did you start boxing?"
Yeah, so funny story. about how I started. I actually used to be real heavy as a kid,
How
and
heavy though, man? Because you look in like great shape. So how heavy is heavy?
so I mean, I was still young. I was about 13, 14, and I just had some baby weight on me, and it was I know this in my head. This is how it is. My dad, I don't know if he'll ever admit it, but I think he just wasn't. He didn't like having the fat kid on the block, so he took me to the boxing gym. We was about, I'll say 13, 14, and yeah, he just took me there to lose some weight, and I ended up really falling in love with it. And it was funny. I started the same time as Dennis Galarza. We started in the same gym, and we both just kept doing it. Of course, he took it to the next level, winning several Silver Glove championships, and then he went pro, and he ended up teaming up with Erickson Lubin. But yeah, man, we all started at the same gym when I
Nice,
was
nice.
13. But I took a real long time off. I had two amateur fights when I was like 13, and yeah, that was it. My mom just wasn't really messing with it. She didn't want me fighting. So then that's why I started picking up other sports. And then honestly, I was in a real bad space in Maryland. I got up to 165 pounds. And I've always been a fan of the show. Myself and my cousin, he heard about Border Wars. We had a talk about, yo, you should do it. And here we are now, that you were the motivation to get me to lose the weight and take it serious.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We got the next one from my opponent, Eddie Bola de Grasa Navarez, who says, Donel, have you paid attention to other fighters in Border Wars landscape? If so, who are you most impressed with?
Man, I gotta say Ducey, man. I definitely didn't see that knockout coming. So that was real eye opening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm interested to see what JD can bring. Of course, I know Mide has some decent skills. But yeah, just I really haven't
Yeah,
been.
Donell. He said decent skills.
But yeah, to be honest, I really haven't been watching anybody like under a microscope. But we'll see on the 29th what people have to bring and who could possibly be my next opponent.
All right, all right. We got Info Joe in California, 2017 Border Wars fighter, LA, says, what's up, Donell? I like your slick boxer. I like your style, slick boxer. I think you and JD have a potential to steal the show. I'm excited for the fight. From what you've seen from JD, in what department do you think you excel over him? Is it your jab, footwork, speed, timing, punch selection, defense, power?
I would say from the footage that I've seen, definitely hand speed and aggression. I felt like he was definitely he was holding his punches against Midi. I'll have to watch this sparring to see if he let his hands go. But I know that I'm definitely faster than him with my hands and with my feet, and I feel that I'll be too aggressive for him.
All right, all right, all right. We got Sir Bishop, heavyweight out of California, Southpaw. Says, shout out to my man Donell. Good to have you in the Border Wars, brother. I remember seeing your cousin in the corner in your last Border Wars. Question, did you and your cousin grow up boxing together, and is he taking boxing as serious as you?
No. So we've always been big fans. He's always had the level head. I've always been the hot head. So, but he's definitely, it was funny. We were talking because he was telling me that he wants to get some sparring in because he never really went into the gym like that. He's definitely more of an intellect. But he's been taking the training aspect a lot more serious as well. So he's definitely been studying. I know he's a big Derek James fan. He's a big fan of Loma's father. He's a big Roger Mayweather fan. So while I'm taking it serious in the fighting game, he's taking it serious in the training aspect, and he's a good businessman. So if we ever decide to take this to the next level, I have 100% faith that he'll be able to guide me in the right direction.
I see JD in the chat talking about I'm 6 feet even. I don't know about all that. I gotta see JD. I don't know about 6 feet, but we got another one. Let me see. Who is this? This is Robert the Genius, another Border Wars fight. He fights at 168. He says, "What did you learn from your sparring at the Wilder Gym versus Ndango?"
Man, that was just an eye-opening experience, man. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but man, I'm gonna thank you until I can't say it anymore, because that was just a real humbling and just eye-opening experience to see what it takes to be a world champ. Like, it was his tank was crazy. Like, he was just, because before you had even got there, I had seen him do like at least 10 rounds on the rope, just nonstop. He was shadow boxing, and then he was just gracious enough to give me those rounds, and it just showed me, first of all, how versatile he was with that jab, because he was able to keep me off of him primarily just with that jab out of the southpaw stance. I tried a lot of things with switching up and try to throw little sneaky hooks and straight rights to the body, and he was able to negate it. So while I was able to do some things positive, it definitely showed me that I have to have a lot more wrinkles to my game.
Bet, man. So, listen, man, those are all the questions from the people. Obviously, if you have anything you want to add, if not, social media. And yeah, man, I want to thank you, obviously, for taking out the time to do this episode of Unguarded. Want to thank you for signing up to Border Wars and participating, and wish you the best in your fight with JD.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for all the inspiration. Everybody in the chat after my last fight has had really good things to say, and it's definitely been a real good experience to just become part of the family and be given the opportunity to possibly take this to the next level. From talking to Mide, hopefully, if everything goes well with this fight, we'll be going out to London maybe in June to participate in one of his events.
Nice.
And then from there, I feel like this has just really springboarded me to another dimension. I speak with Lenroy Thomas like a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's
He's been
my
out
man.
in Cali getting some work with.
Yeah, I seen him with Martin, right?
Gerald Washington.
Oh, Washington. Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
been
did see
a
a
sparring
picture.
partner for Gerald Washington. So I talked with him about a week ago, and he actually has a fight in March in Tampa. So he has some real good things to say.
He stays busy in his hometown, I swear. Like, he could easily go back to Florida and always gets a fight. Always, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. He had a fight, I think, like beginning of January, and it did pretty good. It did pretty good numbers.
He always
my boy
gets
went
a
in Clearwater.
fight. I don't understand it. Like, he stayed with a fight out there.
Yeah. But so we were talking, and he was telling me that I guess they have somebody coming up in that Keith Thurman gym. So I possibly may have the opportunity to maybe do some sparring out there and just have some extra eyes on me. So I just I'm just really grateful for this opportunity and grateful to see where it can take me. And just, hey, look forward to doing work on the 29th. Looking to come and represent. Like I told you, it's be me and my cousin. We coming to represent Florida and, hey, do whatever we can to get the W.
Bro, I just checked his resume. He definitely has a lot of fights in Tampa. And the last two have been in Tampa in a new arena. It's called like the Brian Glazer family. Yeah, the Glazer family JCC Auditorium in Tampa. But he was even fighting at the Pavilion. I think isn't that where Thurman fought Collazo?
Yeah, and the that's next to USF, I believe, that college out there.
Dude fought in the Sundome. That's crazy. I mean, he gets fights out there for sure. So someone in the chat is asking, If you are, where is it? Oh, Guyanese.
Yes,
Yes.
Guyanese and Jamaican. Not to be mistaken with Ghanaian.
Well, that is it. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. I want to thank Donel, obviously, for someone in the chat that said if we had the Border Wars card in Texas, we fight next Saturday, February 29th. Coach Mide versus Elias the Lainez. Donel Fernandes versus JD from Texas. Shawn Jones, Mission Impossible versus For Sure Fire D. Robert the Genius versus Matt Machine Gun from Texas. And you have Collin the Destroyer, and Jordan Baker is off. Jordan is actually fighting Chris Vega from Texas, and
Oh
Jordan
wow.
is from Fort Myers. Yeah, Collin pulled out, man. He put a restriction of time limit on sparring, but you know it's an eye opener. It's probably going to be called the Collin rule moving forward, and we're going to have a hefty sparring fee if you don't submit proper sparring, because it is a thing that you know we have to I guess get a control of. You know, everyone needs to be given a fair opportunity and you know have decent footage on their opponent. You know, this isn't the amateurs where you just go in there blindly. So we would like everyone to know who it is they're getting in the ring with before fight night. That being said, Jordan's taking on Chris in Texas, and Jordan's Cuban. He's going to be taking on the Mexican Chris Vega. I'm going to be taking on Eddie Bola de Grasa, and Doomsday and Israel Weber is off. Doomsday's injured his hand. He's out. So Morocco Joe versus Rell Fireflame from Detroit by way of New Mexico is on the card. So we still have quite a few fights on the card. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights. We lost 2. Not bad. Donel, any social media?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Fernandez FERNANDES underscore world. Once more, that's Fernandez FERNANDES underscore world.
All right, brother. Well, thank you once again, and catch us Saturday for the next episode of Border Wars. And the following Saturday, we'll be in Texas for the fights. Peace.
Thank you.